Good day, everybody. Okay. All right. So in the book I'm writing, there's I think it's like chapter 2, chapter 3, or something like that. There's I talk about like homicide or mass shootings and killings around the world. You know, where people go into schools and kill people, and or WalMarts or churches and or mosques and uh, um, go in there with a bunch of weapons and kill a bunch of people. So, uh, knowing a lot about homicide or why people kill other people, um, I decided to make a list of the 40 something reasons. There's about 40 of them, 40 reasons why somebody would do such things. And they're both historical based, psychologically based, spiritually based, and life based. This might be a two-parter. This might take a long time. Okay, here we go. Number one, I won't number them. I'll just kind of just say next. We don't have anyone to talk to about what we are going through and how we are hurting. Or we were told at a young age that we don't talk about those kind of feelings or those kind of things. Or it's not manly. Like, suck it up. You'll notice that most of these school shootings and these public shootings where people, kill 20, 30, 40 more people than that are mostly men. And I think one of the reasons for that is we're told to not be weak, not to show emotions, not to talk about how we're hurting, not to cry, not to show emotion. So we don't talk to the people around us about those emotions. So we need to start talking about how we feel, and we need to start talking about what we're going through and how we're hurting, which is very Brene Brown. Rock on, Brene Brown. That's the reason why I dedicated my book to you. Next, we have no positive outlook and hope for the future. Next, we don't feel anything because we feel numb. That's the reason why a lot of people cut their arms so they can feel. Next, there is pain and hurt inside of us, and we need to get that pain and hurt out of us, so we kill people or we commit suicide so we can stop feeling the pain. This also is suicide related too, right? So this is the reason why people kill other people, but this is also the reason why people kill themselves and commit suicide, okay? So it's both. It's the reason why people are homicidal and shoot up schools and public places, and this is also the reason why people commit suicide. Next, we use negative self-talk when talking to ourselves, such as, I'm ugly, I'm not good enough, no one loves me, I hate myself, I'm stupid, I'm clumsy, I always make mistakes like that, people don't like me. Negative self-talk. So we have to stop using negative self-talk on ourselves. Next, when we go through so much suffering and hurt and hard times in our life, sometimes we are no longer afraid of anything. We are no longer afraid of committing suicide. We are no longer afraid of killing other people. We are no longer afraid of the consequences of killing people or killing ourselves. We just want to die. We want others to die. We just want our minds to stop. We want the hurt to stop. We want to leave the world. And we want everything to just go away. Man, dear Lord, that was dope. Yeah, and that's a big problem. Next. Right. Next. Okay, here we go. We are afraid of being hurt emotionally, so we act tough and we may be aggressive towards other people. The answer to this problem of aggression inside of a person is to allow yourself to feel the emotional hurt and the emotional pain. Name the emotion, which is this book called Emotional Agility. I forgot the name of the woman who wrote the book, but the name of the book is called Emotional Agility. And it has this acronym called NASA, NASA. And the first thing you do is when you feel the emotion and allow yourself to feel and relax into the emotion, figure out what it is, name the emotion. Be like, okay, what am I feeling? Oh, okay, I'm feeling anxious. Why am I feeling anxious? Okay, by naming the emotion, you understand the emotion better, you understand what it is, and you handle the emotion better. Okay, cool beans. All right. Yes. And then the tough person you built up crumbles. This also helps if you talk to people about the emotional hurt, like Brene Brown. But you have to, when you are talking to people, you have to talk to the people that have earned the respect and the right to hear your story and what you're going through and your pain, right? If you start talking to someone you don't really know or isn't really true friends with you, they're going to make you feel worse, or they're going to walk away and they're not going to want to be your friend anymore, because they're not ready for that, or you haven't reached that level of a good relationship yet, which is hard because a lot of the people that are suicidal and homicidal, we don't have any really good friends. We don't, we're scared of people. We get anxious around people. We don't really have anybody close to us. So who are we going to talk to? So that's the problem with, talking to people and letting it out, because, for people with mental illness, it's hard to have friends. It's hard to make friends. Okay, here we go. Because a lot of us are scared of people. Okay, so then the tough person you built crumbles, and you no longer feel hostile or aggressive towards other people. Feeling this pain allows you to dissolve the ego and your conditioned self, and the person that you invented throughout your entire life and who you became because of what other people want you to be or society wanted you to be. And you no longer feel hostile or aggressive towards yourself or others. Once you allow yourself to feel this pain and hurt inside you, you realize that you don't have to be perfect. You don't have to be so hard on yourself. You don't have to be anything. You can just be, and you are no longer concerned with what other people think about you. And you also have to realize that you live in a world where there is judgment. People judging you is never going to go away. And once you realize that, it's never going to stop. People will always judge you. No matter how perfect you are, people will always judge you because we live in a world of judgment. And thinking that being perfect, you won't get judged, you want to live in a world that doesn't exist, because we'll have judgment here. So once you realize that people are going to judge you, and you become okay with that, and you accept that, you can allow yourself to stop trying to be so perfect. Okay, you don't have to be perfect. You can be imperfect. It's okay. You're human. It's all right. Okay. You begin to see the world as less hostile, and you begin to accept the people around you. It is more difficult for people to take away your happiness, and you do not see people judging you as threatening. Being judged by other people is something that is never going to go away in this world. So you just accept that people are going to judge you, and you find peace with the fact that you will always be judged by other people. Once you find peace with people judging you, you no longer think people should be a certain way. You no longer want to change anyone, and the aggression you have towards people goes away. You find peace with people, and you find peace with yourself. Once you allow yourself to feel your emotional pain, and you allow yourself to go through the process, and finding someone to talk about what you're going through and the pain you're going through helps tremendously. Number 45, Fighting Off Depression, number 45 that I made, talks about the process of going through that emotional pain. However, naming it, the emotional agility thing that I talked about, that wasn't in Fighting Off Depression 45 because I didn't know about it yet. When you decide to stay, and that would be enough, and that would be enough, and that would be enough. Do 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 do. There's a story that's a dun dun dun. There's a visible to bend. Okay, here we go. This is a long one. Next, this is like a whole page, like ninja. When I write on paper. I don't write on a computer. A lot of people don't write on the computer. Okay. We have been abused and hurt. Next. We have been abused and hurt by so many people in our life that not only do we want, or not only do we not like people, we want to kill people. We do not even like the human race and see each other as separate from the human race. When you have a mental illness, usually you see yourself as separate from the human race. Like, a lot of people that are mentally ill call them normals or just average people, and they don't understand what the mentally ill person goes through or is. So we start to dislike the normals, and we don't see them as existing. We see them as expendable, like we could just kill them because they don't really matter, because they're not one of us. Crazy. They're separate from us. We're the mentally ill. They're the normals. Woo! Righteous. Okay. We see them as different than the human race. I'm sorry. We are different than the human race. And we sometimes think we are better than the human race. So we can dispose of people, kill, or do whatever we want to humans and not feel upset about what we do to them. It's crazy stuff, man. But the more mentally ill you are, the more you get there, the more you are that. Okay, next. Sometimes a person who has a mental illness enters delusional states where they think people are plotting against them. People are after them, or people are planning to harm them. These delusional stories or these delusional states can lead a mentally ill person to stay inside their home, afraid to go out into society. And the dark thoughts or the constant thinking of that mentally ill person gets worse because they are fearful to leave their home, and they start to spend way too much time by themselves. When we continue to spend too much time by ourselves, the suicidal thoughts and homicidal thoughts get deeper and worse. We are social creatures by nature. We have been for millions of years. And the need to interact with each other to stay emotionally healthy and joyful is extremely important. But for a mentally ill person with these delusional thoughts and the fear of other humans, they may never be able to truly connect with other people. They may never be able to truly trust other people. As long as these delusional thoughts plague their mind, they're just going to get more and more mentally ill. And they're also going to be more and more afraid of people. Sometimes a person is terrified to go outside, to go food shopping, or even be seen by other people. Sometimes we would just stay inside our home for weeks, days, weeks. Even sometimes people with mental illnesses would lock the door and be terrified of even someone knocking on the door, and they would run into other rooms. I've spent a lot of time with mentally ill people. I've heard a lot of mentally ill stories. But when you're in this delusional state, you just start making up stories, and the stories get worse and worse and worse. I think the answer to that is we need to find a better solution for mentally ill people. A lot of these institutions that people go to for mental illness, they don't really keep the person in these institutions long enough to really understand who they are, what they're going through. We just keep them for 2 or 3 days, give them new meds, and then they're like, well, we can't keep you, this isn't long term. This isn't a long-term facility. We got to let you go. It's an enormous problem in our country. Next. Okay. We do not accept death, or we are not faced with the fear or near-death experiences. When we do not accept death, we do not appreciate the little things in life. We do not experience or have gratitude for what's going on now, because we never get to the point where we accept death. Once you know you're going to die, you start to get happier.